As the shopkeeper caught a glimpse of the young girl slipping a small item into her pocket, she quietly followed her through narrow city streets. Her anger slowly dissolved as she trailed the child, curiosity and concern mingling in her heart. When she finally learned the truth behind the girl's actions, a wave of compassion overwhelmed her, and tears welled up in her eyes, spilling down her cheeks before she could stop them. For decades, Kimberly Cook was the life and soul of the grocery store in this neighborhood. She knew the face of each of her regular customers by heart, and that made the appearance of this little girl so jarring. It was one of those quiet mornings, restocking shelves, when Kimberly first saw the girl. She could not have been more than 5 years old. The child had become a recent fixture at the store, turning up daily to collect items from the charity bin with an urgency that seemed out of place. Each time she would gather as much as her small arms could carry and dart away. First, Kimberly thought maybe the girl had a parent with her, but after days went by, it was certain she was truly a loner. The one thing that really got Kimberly going was the girl's appearance. Her clothes were neat and clean, indicating that she did not come from a very poor family. This juxtaposition chewed at the curiosity of the shopkeeper. One day, Kimberly approached the girl. With a smile, she introduced herself, asking the child's name. The girl's response came out instant and violent. The color of her face just turned bright red. It was mixed with fear and embarrassment. She asked in timid tones if she could get food from the bin as her large eyes asked for understanding. "Of course you can, sweetie," Kimberly responded gently. But before she could say more, the girl quickly began filling her bags with food items, moving with a purposeful desperation that made Kimberly's maternal instincts tingle. "Are you alone at home?" Kimberly ventured. "Where are your parents?" The girl seemed to deliberately ignore the question, continuing to stuff her bags until they were bursting. Then with a quick, "Sorry, I have to go," she vanished down the street as fast as she had appeared. Something did not add up. The next day, when the girl returned to the charity bin, Kimberly knew she needed to uncover the truth behind this mysterious child's daily ritual. She kept herself looking busy, while very discreetly keeping an eye on the young girl. At the child's cue that she was leaving, without making it obvious, Kimberly asked her colleague to mind the store before slipping out, trying very carefully to tail behind. She drove cautiously to make sure not to attract her attention. The 5-year-old wandered the streets, her bag of collected items swinging casually at her side. No one paid much attention to the lone child moving through the cityscape. Eventually, she turned into a narrow alley. Kimberly parked her car and continued on foot, her heart racing with a mixture of concern and curiosity. The girl came out onto a bleak street that looked decidedly dangerous, going down progressively narrower and darker passages. She crossed an overgrown field and was almost out of sight amongst the tall, unkempt grass. Kimberly watched as the girl approached a dilapidated garage, her movements careful and deliberate. As the garage door opened, Kimberly saw the shocking scene of a young boy and some sort of sickly-looking dog huddled inside. The girls suddenly spotted Kimberly, and in a moment of panic they attempted to shut the door. "Hey, I'm not here to hurt you," Kimberly said softly. "I just want to help." For an instant, there was nothing but silence. Then a small, quivering voice said, "No, we're not coming out. You'll call the police, please go." Kimberly's soft, soothing laugh seemed to work wonders on the child's barrier. The garage door slowly started to open with caution and careful moves. Nothing more than the small girl appeared. "Where's the little boy and dog?" she persisted, her tone soft with mounting concern. As the small girl looked back, a well of tears brimming in her eyes, she spoke with a quavering voice, a combination of terror and bravery. "Don't take us apart. I'm Jason's sister." Mommy said, "You've got to watch your brother. My name is Stacy, and that's our dog, Timmy." Kimberly carefully probed the reason why they were all staying in the garage, listening in horrified sadness as Stacy explained what had happened to her family. "Mommy and Daddy went to heaven," she explained, her words raw with pain. "There was a fire at our house. A fire truck came, and they took Mommy and Daddy to the hospital, but they never came back." She went on to explain that Mrs. Green, an elderly neighbor, had cautioned her that the police would take them away if anyone found out about the situation. Tears streamed down Kimberly's cheeks as she listened to the child's heartbreaking account. Now she understood why Stacy had been collecting food from the charity bin. She was desperately trying to survive, to protect her little brother. In that moment, Kimberly knew she couldn't leave these children alone. "Come with me," she said softly. "I'll take care of you, Jason and Timmy." Her promise hinged on keeping the siblings together, a condition Stacy quickly accepted. Slowly, Jason emerged from the shadows of the garage, clutching the weak, malnourished dog. At Kimberly's home, her husband Josh was in a state of shock with their unexpected guests. He suggested calling the authorities, but Kimberly reminded him of her promise to Stacy. The next 2 weeks they searched desperately, combing through newspapers, local internet groups, hoping someone might be looking for the children. But there was only silence in return. Mrs. Green, the elderly neighbor Stacy had mentioned, was clearly unable to care for 2 young children. Kimberly and Josh found themselves at a crossroads. They had never planned on having children, but fate seemed to have other ideas. Perhaps this was the family they never knew they wanted. Under the care of Kimberly and Josh, Stacy and Jason blossomed. Their once fragile spirits finally found healing in the warmth of a real, loving home. After much contemplation and many discussions, the couple made the life-changing decision to officially adopt the siblings, Timmy the dog included. The adoption process was long and tedious, filled with paperwork, interviews, and emotional challenges, yet their determination never wavered. After months of patience and persistence, the moment Stacy and Jason became their children legally finally came along. Their rather unconventional beginning, a chance encounter in a grocery store parking lot, was all but a memory now. Kimberly and Josh couldn't help but be amazed at how unexpected life had turned out for them. Where once they had no plans for children, they now had 2 beautiful souls filling their home with love, laughter, and hope. For Stacy and Jason, the days of scrounging for food and living in a cramped garage were over. They had found more than just a home, they had found a family. Timmy completed their unique and beautiful unit, now healthy and playful. No longer would they fear survival, but dream, grow, and find the simple joys of childhood, secure in parents who had chosen them with an open heart and unconditional love. What would you do? Imagine walking into your store one day and finding a little child rummaging for food in the charity bin. What would run across your mind? What action would you take when presented with such a sad reality? Now we want to hear from you. Would you have made the time to hear a small child's story? Might you find yourself heart and door wide open for a child in need every day and her brother and their faithful old dog too? Your experience, empathy, and views count. Share with us in a comment below how you could have handled this tender emotional dilemma.